Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About YouABQ.
Oh, that's right. It's all about YouABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests that you like to see. So I invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out using our social media up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage Home Loan Expert.
And you probably recognize Grant Harvey as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team, but now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage space.
You've seen Skip on HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2% producing real estate agents in the city.
And here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Carin Corrie, the owner and CEO of Corr Pilates and Cycle Studio up in Albuquerque's Northeast Heights. It's a fun interview. She's, she grew up in Albuquerque, left Albuquerque, came back to Albuquerque, so that's what the show's about.
Got to be something about this place.
But anyways, dude, hey, happy year anniversary. I mean, we're going back through the archives. We did it. Remember, that was our goal. Yeah. Everyone has an idea, but 1 year transpires. That's a real commitment. Yeah, so season 3, we did the turkey episode last year. And so obviously, I guess this year we'll just kind of pick up with that. Dude, how was your Thanksgiving? It was pretty good. I went to the Herrera side of the family and ate a conglomerate of white and Hispanic dishes, and it was pretty good. And then came home with no leftovers. That's a bummer, right? As a bachelor. Bachelor, whatever you want to, but a guy that didn't host the dinner, I didn't come out with any goodies. You know, it's funny. We had our standard Thanksgiving. Sister is in town, and so we had big Thanksgiving at mom and dad's, and after Thanksgiving, it was just like, God, I looked at my wife, I go, what'd you think of that? She's like, I don't know, I'm kind of over this. This is just like the same stuff every year, just plain white. Just boring Thanksgiving. I was just like, yeah, I want to do something different. So I'm curious to see what the Herrera side had. Because here's what I want for Thanksgiving next year: like a smoked turkey covered in red chili with nacho with queso on it. You know what I mean? I'm so tired of just mashed potatoes and gravy. Yeah, I think you need an injection. I think we have our fair share of pozole and then like a green chili kind of gravy that we inject. So it's a good hybrid, I think, over at the. Shout out to my cousin Andrea and family. I think that make a nice hybrid. My dad makes his great baked bread, and it's a nice mixture of white and Hispanic culture. So yeah. Yeah, see, ours was straight out of the box, dude. Yeah, stovetop. Stofers. Yeah, just a TV dinner. I'm not complaining though. My wife, what she does, she takes all the leftovers, chops it all up into it, and then makes a big pot pie of leftovers. So anytime you need leftovers, just scoop a whole. Chicken pot pie, some of Skip's 3 favorite things. Yeah, dude. So what else, man? What's the latest with you? I went to the Nutcracker at Popejoy. That was fun. We do that. My dad brought me ever since I was 5 years old there, and it's a good injection. And I think I appreciate it every bit more as I am becoming the least flexible guy on earth every year, and I go, wow, as I watch them. So. Would you say all those moves are a nutcracker? For me. You didn't see our big ad in the program? What do you mean? Dude, we took out a big ad in the program. I didn't get a program, actually. Oh, you got to learn how to read. Dude, for who's we? Who's on there? You'll never know. You'll have to go back to the nutcracker. I am actually going this weekend because that's where we're going to go with my dad. Okay, well. We're going to get another Get a program. We'll get it signed for you. What'd you do? Oh yeah, Sunday. Wait, what are we doing? Your sister, Tessa. Oh, right? Yeah. How was that? Oh yeah, so we did. We rented out Live and Mimi's Play Palace or Play Cafe. So great little Sunday morning. We rented out the entire place, so we had just the kids there. Because he's rich. Look, not bragging, but we had some donuts and a couple 1-2 seltzeroos. But it was cool. The kids played, and the place is great. I think if you're a mom looking for a mom group, that's a cool place to go hang out. For me, it was a little, what am I going to do there? But what am I going to do? I'm not a baby. Yeah, what am I going to do? Climb on the jungle gym? But a lot of things going on in Albuquerque in the real estate market, nationwide too. I mean, people are.
making the move towards rental properties. There's big hedge funds that are buying up a ton of houses and holding them as rentals. So the new theory is, instead of building communities for resale, big development companies are now building massive communities of single-family homes for rentals. And so there's a new project launching here in Albuquerque. It's the same thing. Bedrock is a new build-to-rent community currently being developed in Albuquerque. It's being created by the La Terra Development Group, and the project will consist of 300 single-family homes and townhomes. It's a Los Angeles-based real estate investment development firm. So they're making that $100 million investment into Albuquerque, and it's the first of its kind in this region.
So what does it consist of? So I see single-family residences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, houses.
So how many, what's the range in bedrooms inside?
So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just little starter
Just homes. How many of them, 150?
There's a mix of 300 single-family homes and townhomes that are going in. None of them are for sale. So, I think it'll do wonders to ease the housing crisis. But again, that's kind of where the market is shifting as far as development is going. People are getting away from resale.
What's the entry point? So tell the viewers, what's the advantage of them coming in like that versus qualifying for a house?
And again, so my take on it would be, if you are going to do the whole, rental community, I think it's great for a long-term investment. I see the value, though, in offering rent-to-own homes, right? So people that are in a position where they can't qualify for financing, they would essentially come in on a seller financing deal, maybe do rent it for 3 years, and then use those monies as a down payment to go ahead and purchase if your credit's good enough.
But this one's just straight up
rental. So it's a full neighborhood of single-family homes that are for rent only.
That's interesting. That's a big city concept. What I think is due for this city is actually the multi-generational. I think that's what's lacking too. It's big in California, it's big in other big cities, but to have a conglomerate of houses that will house the grandparents and the parents and the kids all in one place.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. I think, especially with our culture here, a lot of people, a lot of families, dynamics are that the abuela lives with us, and that's kind of how it goes. And I do have to sneeze, but I'm going to hold it in tight. Just I'm keeping it tight over here. But so here's where we get into a little bit of a problem with that. Now, builders have tried that concept, and it's big. It works in Texas and stuff. But when you get into Albuquerque and our price points, remember, families here are comfortable at that $350 price point.
Absolutely.
So it's always a challenge to get, a house with a guest house and a 3-car garage on it with enough acre or enough room and keep it still at a poor affordable price.
Yeah, the thought is, if you apply everyone's money as a packaging, this becomes affordable. So something for $350 is affordable for one housing unit. If you say, hey, I got Social Security, then the new price point becomes $550, but it's catching on slowly. But you have to have everyone involved, right? Because $550 is very scary. But if you basically do a group financing, which could be really hard and qualifying. If one person has a blemish, it could kind of ruin the whole application process. So.
Yeah, and most of the time, grandma, grandpa are not working. They may have some Social Security, but chances are they would have sold their house, made a couple bucks, and that's their contribution. Yep. Either way, I think it's a great great way to ease our housing shortage. And I think that's an answer. Yeah, I think that's what the mayor was doing when he did our Housing Forward initiative to allow ADUs to be built, the granny flats to be built in the
Let's
backyard.
touch on that, right? The move is to say, if you have enough room within your property, that you can have a 750 square foot casita. And then that would actually answer a lot of the housing woes that Albuquerque has, because we're pretty concentrated and we're surrounded by reservation land. We have a very limited amount of land to build on.
So it's always an option, right? Yeah. So again, coming up in the next segment, before we jump into the Mortgage Minute, Carin Corrie, owner and CEO of Corr Pilates and Cycle Studio. And then obviously stay tuned to the third segment. We're going to get into Skip's tips. And this is just
the climax.
That's what everybody tunes in for. But no, talking about mortgages and qualifying, let's jump into that.
Yeah, let's go into our Mortgage Minute. So, as a young lad, I also thought that people that would have their credit on freeze were paranoid, and I thought that they were a little bit egregious about their efforts to protect their identity. Let me tell you what, I actually had someone do identity fraud on me, shut down my phone, try to send out wires. I guess because I'm in my 40s now, I'm all for having your credit frozen. And it's not as obnoxious as you think. You can actually go online and register with TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian and actually go on their app and freeze your credit. And that's what I'm doing now. So as much as I thought those people were obnoxious, I had it hit me, and now I got a new perspective onto credit fraud. So you can have the choice of letting it go forever on a freeze, 3 days or 30 days. But I highly advise that. And if you guys think you're invincible, so did I, and I was subject to identity fraud. So I encourage you guys all to freeze your credit, and it's not as obnoxious as it appears. That's a worries minute.
So so to freeze and unfreeze your credit, you have to have 3 different apps for each credit
Yeah,
score?
I mean,
and then there's a monthly fee? So
No. Like all 3 bureaus will let you have a login, credentials, and let you do it that way. The one thing that I've seen through loans is sometimes loans take longer than 30 days, so you may have to revisit it. And it's only obnoxious for your mortgage broker. So let that guy take it on. But I think it's extremely important for you guys to freeze your credit, because there's so many. I don't know if you've been on the internet, but you've seen all the times it goes, oh, your information's available in the dark web, and you may go X out of there, like, oh, get out of here, who cares? But that's actually real information. Like, someone is trying to, your information's out there. So
God, I hate being an adult, man. There's so many things to worry about. Either way, coming up in the next thing a bit, we're going to meet Carin, the owner of Corr Pilates and Cycle Studio. She's got a great story, leaving Albuquerque and then coming back shining and starting a business. So it's going to be a good segment. Yeah. So stay tuned. This is all about YouABQ.
But it is.
Hey,
Hi, we're back.
Welcome back to the YouABQ podcast. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage.
We got a great segment coming up. We always like to highlight small business owners here in town and kind of tell their story about growing and becoming successful here in Albuquerque. We're joined by Carin Corrie, owner and CEO of Corr Pilates and Cycle Studio in the Northeast Heights of Albuquerque. Carin, what a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me.
You know what I like about you, La Cueva kid, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Here we go. He always divides the crowd into west side and east side, but there, you can have your day today.
Look at it. It's all about the Northeast Heights.
It's all about the Eldorado Eagles and the Bears.
But talk a little bit about your background. Now we'll jump into the business, but you grew up in Albuquerque.
Yep, I was born and raised in Albuquerque, grew up in the Northeast Heights of town. I graduated from La Cueva in 2008, and then I went to UNM. I got my undergraduate degree in business, went on to get my master's in business as well. During my master's program, I relocated out to Phoenix for a couple years. I danced there professionally for the Phoenix Suns for the NBA for a couple years, moved back to Albuquerque in 2015, and then it was in 2022 that we opened Corr.
Well, talk a little bit more about your stop in Phoenix, because we've all spent time in Phoenix, whether it's for a bachelor party or going out for a fun weekend.
Yeah.
But living there is a whole different lifestyle. So talk a little bit about, how did you get hooked up with the Suns?
Well, so I grew up a dancer. I started dancing when I was 3 years old.
Fishbacks, right?
No, actually.
No.
I had 2 sisters. I just took a stab in the dark there.
No, I actually grew up going to All Wins,
Okay.
which was a kind of a competitor of Fishbacks, I guess you could say. But and then I went to UNM and I danced. They were called the Chaparrals back then. I think they're called the Lobo Dancers now. But for all 4 years of my undergrad, and there really isn't anywhere in Albuquerque or in New Mexico to dance professionally because we just don't have any professional sports teams. So I was really missing my dancing career and wanted to kind of take it to the next level. So I found the place that was closest to home so that I could easily be able to come back and forth. And so I was there in Phoenix for a couple years. I really loved it. It was very hot, but luckily I love hot weather. So I really did enjoy it. But at the end of the day, my family is here. And so that's really what brought me back.
So talk a little bit more about, kind of the differences in living in a huge metropolis like Phoenix.
Right.
It's so expansive and,
Right.
There's so much traffic and prices are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about some of the other reasons what brought you back to New Mexico aside from family?
Yeah, you're very right. Living in a big city like that when I really had no other experience other than living in Albuquerque and kind of, I always call it like the biggest small town that you'll ever, be in. It was a little bit of a culture shock. just the freeway system alone. But other than that, it really is a much bigger city. And I love Albuquerque because, again, it does sometimes have that big city feel, but also that very small town feel. I feel like you're always just like 1 degree of separation from a friend or a relative. And it really does feel much more like a community here. You can start to have conversations with people and be like, oh, I know that guy, or I know her.
Oh, that's my cousin.
Yeah, and so it just feels a lot more like home here.
What age did you have ambitions of owning a house? Because that can change, right? If you're in Phoenix in that area, you'll go, man, I'll never own a house. But was that part of your goal, was the transition into being a homeowner?
I think being a business owner was always my number one.
Was that a priority to make it Albuquerque based, or what part of that did?
So my interest in Pilates started actually in Phoenix, because Reformer Pilates, as we know it now, didn't have as much of a presence here in Albuquerque as it does in larger cities. So that's kind of where I got my first exposure, and where I fell in love with it was actually when I was dancing, because I needed a way to stay in shape and to keep my body healthy and all of that during that time. And so then I really saw the opportunity here in Albuquerque, because there wasn't really quite anything like it just yet. Once we opened, of course, there definitely was, but back then when I got my certification in 2015, I really thought I could bring this to my hometown. I could bring this to Albuquerque, because it is something unique that hadn't really hit the city yet.
Okay, so a lot of times we always ask, so what makes Albuquerque so magical? You were able to go out to Phoenix and have the big city amenities. What was magnetized you back to Albuquerque?
Did you? Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always like hiking, and I know in Phoenix there's Camelback.
I actually lived on Camelback. Oh, okay. I lived literally right behind the mountain, so I did get to hike Camelback a lot. Yeah. But I guess, again, I think it just goes back to kind of that hometown feel that you have here. And, especially right now when we are in the depths of the holiday season, that really feels like home, and, planning to make tamales with your grandmother and things like that. Yeah. So
I always feel like, not to diss Tempe or Phoenix, but I feel like Albuquerque has some stubbornness and genuine aspect to it, where the people are the people, and there's not a bunch of smoke and mirrors there is out there.
I would agree.
The people, I would agree. And I think that's what a lot of people go out there, and they need to see that to appreciate Albuquerque and New Mexico.
Yeah, we keep it real, right? Okay, so Corr Pilates, you guys are in probably the best location you could be in Albuquerque. I mean, the corner of Wyoming and Paseo.
Oh gosh, the Mecca, right? You have to.
That's the Mecca of yoga.
Yeah, really. That's the best place
our
to showcase.
location was very strategically picked, and we're really happy with that location. We do get a lot of traffic there, and it does speak well to our market.
So a year and a half you've been there, but talk a little bit more about.
And there we are on the screen.
Checking out your.
If you see anything that pops up in one of the squares you want to mention.
But talk a little bit about the training process to becoming certified in Pilates. Now I know you did your training out in Phoenix, but do you, for your team of what do you call them?
Pilates instructors.
Well, there's got to be a fancier name than that. We're TV hosts.
Pilates, is it a Pilates?
No, I mean that's really what you call them. Now I am a master instructor in Pilates as well, and I'm certified through Balanced Body, which is the world's largest provider of Pilates equipment and education. They provide education literally throughout the entire world, and I'm proud to say that I am the only master instructor here in New Mexico that provides Balanced Body education. Not to say that instructors cannot be certified through other avenues. So they're, all of the places that you can go to get certified are just like getting your degree from a different university, basically. Yeah. But I think I am a little bit biased to Balanced Body. But so basically we have training programs where we start people from the ground up, and we do a total of 7 in-studio weekends with them, 14 days, 8-hour days, where we teach them not only movement principles and all about the body and anatomy, but then we go into mat training, then we go into reformer training. And that is just to become mat and reformer certified, but there is also an opportunity to become fully comprehensively trained like myself, where you do become certified in the other apparatus as well. But we don't offer that just yet, but we will be offering that next year.
So the first thing that pops up to me is, me being a third-party guy outside of this, what kind of degrees of difficulty are there in Pilates in terms of classes that you offer?
Yeah, so our classes specifically at our studio are open to all levels. So we have people that are very beginner who have never been on a reformer before, or we have people who have taken 250 plus classes with us, and they're in the same class together. I've created a structure within my training program and with my instructors specifically where we can really cater to all levels in the same class. So we can allow for one exercise to be accommodating to someone who is more beginner and then someone who's more advanced.
So you do have variations going, hey, so you can do this to start this, and this would be the ultimate.
Right. So we like to start at like the baseline of an exercise, and then we progress and we add layers throughout the exercise, and people will either take it or leave it depending on their abilities.
I just remember going on the Megaformer and my legs would just be shaking. And I'd be trying to like keep my balance, and I feel like, you know, I'm a coordinated guy, but then, you know, you look at the gals in there just like crushing me in this sport. So.
There are so many different levels of being, what I say, conditioned per the concentration, right? And so like I've always, the yoga, the Pilates and stuff, like you may feel like you're in really good shape per your discipline.
Yes.
But Pilates, I think, is like the best test to like, are you body weight efficient? Like, can you?
It will humble you very quickly.
You balance.
I already got humbled. Like, so I just realized I'm in for a death sentence. But I do think that anyone that stick with it, when people tell me they do Pilates, I go, wow, there's really something to you. Like you're a great athlete.
So talk a little bit about, you have a business background and opening one business a year and a half ago. What are some of the things that you've learned doing business in Albuquerque or trying to get, businesses approved or, issues with, gross receipts tax in opening up your...
Very specific question. What's your opinion on gross receipts taxes in New Mexico?
It's going to be a hot take right here. But talk about opening, your second location.
Yeah, so we are due to open our second location mid-December. We're just a couple weeks out from that. That location will be on the corner of Corr and Montano. So we are going to start to be able to cater to the west side. We do have a lot of our members that travel to the east side for us, so we're excited to offer another location there. But as far as, owning a business and starting out, it is just such a learning curve. And I always say every single day I'm taking it one day at a time. Like I literally can only tackle what I have on my to-do list today, and what is tomorrow will come tomorrow.
So when people expand, this is one of the things at the forefront when people have, I won't say like subsequent, like Wex has franchise places, but how do you keep the quality control when you have another location?
Yeah, so I would say in general, I'm a very hands-on owner, and I like to be present as much as I can at the studio that we have now, and I will be very present at the west side as well. I teach myself. I teach both on the Pilates and on the spin side, but I just really like to be there and available for my staff all the time, and just making myself known there to make sure that our members know that I really care about their experience, from the second that they walk through our door to the second that they leave every single day, and just making sure again that we are providing quality every day. We're open 7 days a week. The only day that we're closed throughout the year is Christmas Day. So, it's a lot to operate every single day, but just staying on top of it and making sure my staff feels, encouraged and empowered to create that quality all the time.
So what's your range of hours for classes?
So we always have morning classes and evening classes Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is just the morning, but we start anywhere from 6 to 6:30 in the morning, usually have about 4 or 5 classes in the morning. We close down in the afternoon, then we open back up in the evening for like the after work time. Some of our classes start at 4, sometimes 5, and we go until about 7 or 8.
Did she say you did a spin too?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how are your memberships split up? You can do one or the other, or is it a good
You get access to both.
Okay. And
so if one maniac wanted to do 5 classes, they could?
Yes.
Skip?
I would do it if it was at 5 a.m.
It's way too late for me at 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So Riverside Plaza.
Yes.
That's a good location.
That's where we are just a couple tours down from Matucci's.
So what is the max class size?
So on the Pilates side, we have 12 reformers. So up to 12 people on the Pilates side. And then on the spin side, we will have 20 bikes on the west side studio. We have 18 on the east side.
12 is very special.
Cost to open up a store. I mean, because look, the bikes are expensive, but the reformers are real expensive.
They are.
What is a reformer for this guy?
Oh, dude. Mark, give a picture of a reformer.
Yeah, so you can, the reformer is a machine that was invented by Joseph Pilates himself. And
wait, so
basically...
Pilates is a guy?
Hold on.
Yes.
Dude, I had no idea.
Let's go. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, Bill Hockey. They created hockey.
Pilates was created by a man named Joseph Pilates.
I had no idea.
He...
Flexible man.
Yes. He kind of created his method. He was born in 1926 in Germany, He started his method and what he originally called controlology, because it does cause so much control in your body. I could go on forever, but very long story short, he relocated into the United States. Him and his wife opened their first studio in the 60s. Yes, so that is, you know.
There you
Skip's
are.
in the middle. Skip's ponytail's long in that picture.
So you can see there that they have the carriage bed is what we call it. The carriage is the place where your body kind of goes, and underneath that are springs. So it is controlled against spring tension.
Wonderful.
That you can either increase or decrease depending on the weight of the spring. And then you have straps that you pull with either arms or legs.
That's
things
something
like that.
else. So how much, here's my limited vernacular. Static contraction part of this, where you have a negative that you're controlling, is this part of Pilates too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the whole concept is a lot of proprioception, a lot of control, stability, flexibility, mobility. It's basically strength training.
Yeah.
But everything is very slow and controlled.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily in there to see, you know, how much weight you can pick up and how many
Sure.
repetitions you can do. It's just how well can you control the movement. We really activate a lot of those slow twitch muscles.
It's as a hockey player, we were always held in positions, probably by a Pilates method, that made me stronger to go stay in that form and don't get out of it. Don't rest. Like
Sure.
because you have very many different degrees of power exertion, right? And so you got to be able to like maximize each one. I knew why I didn't go back to Pilates. It's so freaking hard.
You're going to have to come. Your first class is always free. So come check it out.
And then I'll go get my graveyard site. Yeah.
What is, do you have a bunch of dudes in the classes?
You know, we do actually have quite a few men.
Is that right?
We do. Not as many as I would like. We would love to boost our male membership, but
Coupon code in the description below.
Yeah. What do you think is the most conducive to Pilates? What body shape? Like a rock climber type, or like what do you think?
Doesn't matter. Honestly, I mean, it sounds cliche, but Pilates is for everybody.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. What was his name? Joe Pilates?
Joseph Pilates, yep.
What? Okay, so now I'll address my inadequacies. Also, how much does flexibility come into this?
You know, that's what people say. They always say, "Oh, I'm not flexible enough for that." You don't have to be flexible. You really don't.
You'll get there,
Guess
though.
who's
You will
back
get there.
in?
It will certainly improve your flexibility and your mobility. It really will. But that should not be like a stopping point for you. Yeah, we can accommodate, you know, all levels, all body types. So,
what type of retention do you have for people? Like, do you make it so that even an experienced person and a rookie goes,
Yes.
I can do this again?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's really what I like to think sets us apart, is that we are accommodating to all level types. We don't have levels to our classes, so you don't have to find a class on our schedule that's like, oh, I only want to go to this advanced class because I'm advanced. I don't get a good workout when I'm going to, you know, a lower level class. All of our classes are the same level, and we offer all of those. Now, I will say that in general, we are more of a progressive form of Pilates. We're considered more contemporary Pilates. We're not very classical. We are more high intensity.
You're just swearing and pointing at people.
Well, compare what's classical and progressive. Compare the two.
Yeah, so classical is very much the ways of Joseph Pilates that he created it, you know, way back in the day. Over the last century, we have, you know, been able to do a lot of research that tells us that our body moves in a better way than maybe we thought, or, you know, these type of things are done in a certain way to have a better outcome. And so, but in general, you know, also our studio is, it's a vibe, you know, we have, you know, fun upbeat music, your instructor's on a mic, you know, so again, we cater to the younger crowd for sure, in that sense that you can get a really good fun workout. It's a fun environment. But then also, you know, to those who might need it to be taken a little bit slower, we do all of that in one class.
Those are pretty good instructors if they can fit to that range, because, you know, limitations, me being a hockey coach, you could have subscribe to one way, but if you are a wise and a psychologist in a way, you can subscribe to many ways that people operate.
Sports are always evolving, techniques are always evolving.
Yeah.
Fundamentals are always going to be the same. You know, keep your balance, look forward, don't be an idiot.
Right. But yes, things are always evolving, and I must say, I really do believe I have some of the best instructors in the city. They have a huge passion for what they do, both on the Pilates and the spin side. They are all really, really good at what
That's
they do.
good. Keeping your culture for business, whatever it may be, is the key. And so if you have adopted that, I think that's the way that you stay successful. So good on you for finding those people.
Thank you.
Carin, well, I think it starts at the top, and you seem like a fantastic leader, and you always have the good energy. energy. So we appreciate you bringing that energy to the
you.
show today.
Thanks so much.
So Carin, we'll put your contact information on the website as well, and we'll hope to drive some traffic to you guys.
We would love that.
Skip and I are going to no longer use chairs. We're just going.
I'm just
to
going to be just in a lunge
for the
position.
rest of our season. Dedication to this.
It's just squatting on Albuquerque. All right, so thank you, Carin, for coming in. Stay tuned. We got in the final segment, we're going to wrap things up with a fantastic version of Skip's Tips. It's YouABQ.
Segment 3, welcome back. Thank you, Carin, for coming on the show. Love to see the progressiveness of exercise studios in Albuquerque. But now we're about to get into Skip's Tips. Take it away, Skip's Tip.
Skip's Tips, anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun, whether that's in real estate or real life. So let's play Would You Rather. Would you rather replace your kitchen backsplash, or would you rather replace that old swamp cooler? How about some new flooring in the house, or would you rather replace that sewer line? Here's where I'm going with this. Taking the time to make the necessary repairs to the systems, like your swamp cooler, which could leak into your house, destroy your roof, or that sewer line, which can back up and destroy your floors. These are going to lead to more repairs down the road and eventually more heartache. So before you take the time and spend the money on those cosmetic updates, be sure to do those mechanical upgrades. Share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Next time, would you rather marry one, kill one?
Or bang your sewer pipe?
You're becoming unglued. Good Skip's Tips here. Actually, from me putting in a couple bids on houses, I realized how big sewer replacement were. Like it's kind of a prevalent problem with a lot of houses, like 1970-ish.
Yeah, that cast iron can fail after about 60 to 80 years, something like that. So.
Yeah, and the other thing I think we found out is tree roots. What a problem tree roots are. We all love big, grown, mature trees. How invasive are they? I actually like houses that have the trees really put out to the outermost property line, right?
Yeah, we've seen some impressive sewer line scopes. We always drop a camera down the sewer line to see what's going on down there. And it's a whole nother world of, cockroaches and roots and who knows, all kinds of debris.
Yeah, so that can cause you problems later on, and I think it's good to have those inspections done. But yeah, I'm a big fan of putting money towards the sewer. It doesn't show up, but someone down the line is going to have to pay the piper. So.
Great episode of YouABQ. Thanks to Carin at Corr Pilates for
season 3. I guess it's women empowerment season.
Yeah, so I guess if you're a chick, give me a call. Be on the show. Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings here on the Education Channel. This is all about YouABQ.
Watching YouABQ.